Imagine carrying the weight of the problems of hundreds, even thousands of people, all seeking a word of comfort, an answer, a direction. Now, imagine not being able to show weakness, not being able to say that you, too, are tired, that you also need help. This is the daily reality for many religious leaders. But what happens when the one who guides others begins to lose themselves? How does the pressure of leading a community affect the mental health of these leaders? Today, we're going to discuss a delicate but incredibly necessary topic: religious leaders and mental health. Religious leaders play a fundamental role in society. They provide guidance, offer spiritual counsel, listen to people's struggles, celebrate joyous moments, and bring comfort in times of hardship. But behind the pulpit, the robe, the title of pastor, priest, rabbi, or any other spiritual leader, there is a human being, with emotions, insecurities, and limitations. And the big question is, who takes care of those who take care of others? Many leaders face deep emotional crises but avoid seeking help due to fear of judgment, fear of appearing weak, or even because they believe that faith alone should be enough to deal with these struggles. In this video, we'll explore the challenges these leaders face, the impact of spiritual and social pressure on their mental health, and how we can help break this cycle of silent suffering. Being a religious leader is not just a calling, it is a tremendous responsibility. Communities expect them to have answers for everything, to be strong, and to always be available. This emotional burden is no small matter. The expectation is that they will always stand firm, never waver, and always speak words of hope. But what happens when they themselves feel lost? When they need support and have no one to turn to? The truth is that many religious leaders suffer in silence. They experience emotional exhaustion, crises of faith, and even depression, yet they rarely speak about it. After all, how can they admit weakness when they are expected to be the source of strength for others? Religious leadership can be an incredibly lonely place. Many leaders have no close friends with whom they can be vulnerable. Anything they share could be used against them, and the fear of exposure leads them to isolation. This isolation worsens emotional struggles. Without a safe space to express their feelings, without a trusted friend to lean on, they take on the burdens of others while struggling to deal with their own. This can lead to anxiety disorders, depression, and even spiritual burnout. Additionally, many leaders become distanced from their own families. The overwhelming responsibilities and the constant need to be available to their communities make family time rare. This separation can lead to feelings of guilt and even greater emotional distress. Another concerning issue is the lack of dedicated support networks for these leaders. Unlike other professions, where supervision and institutional psychological support are available, many religious leaders have nowhere to turn when facing emotional crises. This lack of support can lead to worsening mental health conditions. To combat this loneliness, it is essential to create safe spaces where leaders can share their struggles without fear of judgment. Support groups, mentorship programs, and psychological counseling are some of the solutions that can help reduce isolation and promote a more balanced life. The mental health of a religious leader doesn't just affect their personal well-being, it also impacts their family. Many feel overwhelmed, with little time for their children, spouse, or even themselves. The constant demands of the community can lead to family conflicts, emotional distance, and even divorce. The excessive workload and the lack of balance between ministry and personal life are significant factors contributing to the psychological struggles of these leaders. When family members don't fully understand the emotional burden a leader carries, it can create even more distance and isolation. It is essential for both leaders and their families to communicate openly and honestly, creating a supportive environment. Small changes in daily routines, such as setting aside time for family and prioritizing leisure activities, can make a significant difference in emotional well-being. Suicide among religious leaders is a rarely discussed but extremely concerning issue. The weight of responsibility, the isolation of the position, and the pressure to be infallible can push many to the brink of despair. Sadly, there are reports of pastors, priests, and other spiritual leaders who, unable to see a way out of their pain, take their own lives. The shame of admitting weakness, the fear of judgment, and the lack of adequate support contribute to this tragic outcome. It is essential to break the silence on this issue. We need to create environments where these leaders can seek help without fear of repercussions, where they can be welcomed and encouraged to take care of their mental health without feeling guilty or unqualified for their role. Cases of religious leaders who faced mental health challenges. Pastor Andrew Stokeline. In 2018, the pastor of Inland Hills Church in the U.S. struggled with depression and anxiety. Despite sharing his battles, he ultimately took his own life, sparking discussions about the mental well-being of religious leaders. Pastor Jared Wilson, a vocal advocate for mental health, Jared often spoke about his fight against depression and led suicide prevention campaigns. In 2019, he died by suicide, shocking the Christian community and reinforcing the urgent need for leader support. Father Patrick Fernandez. In 2019, the Brazilian priest began experiencing severe depression and exhaustion. He sought professional help and has since become an advocate for the importance of psychological care within churches. For a long time, seeking psychological help was seen as unnecessary within religious communities. Many believed that faith alone should be enough to handle any problem. Fortunately, this mindset is changing. More and more religious leaders are realizing that therapy and faith are not enemies. On the contrary, caring for the mind is just as important as caring for the spirit. And when a leader is emotionally well, they can serve their community more effectively. Another crucial point is that leaders who seek therapy can become positive role models for their followers. When a spiritual authority figure demonstrates that seeking help is normal and necessary, the community is more likely to follow that example, reducing stigma and promoting a healthier environment. The first thing we need to do is create safe spaces where religious leaders can talk about their struggles without fear of judgment. They are human too, they suffer too, and they need support. Encouraging them to seek therapy, take time to rest, and cultivate genuine friendships can make a huge difference. We also need to shift the mindset within churches, teaching that seeking professional help is not a lack of faith but a responsible act of self-care. Additionally, it is crucial for religious communities to encourage healthy practices of rest and balance. Many churches and congregations demand an exhausting workload from their leaders without providing adequate support. Creating spaces for self-care and psychological support can be a major step toward improving this reality. Religious leaders are essential to their communities, but they also need care. If you know someone who is overwhelmed, encourage them to seek help. If you are a leader and you're feeling this way, know that you are not alone. Seeking support is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. Mental health should be a priority within religious communities. When a leader is emotionally balanced, they can fulfill their mission with more love and dedication. Breaking the taboo around therapy and psychological care is essential to ensuring these leaders remain strong and healthy. Furthermore, religious institutions must provide adequate support for their leaders, fostering spaces of care and well-being. Creating a culture of understanding and support can save lives and strengthen everyone's spiritual journey. If this video resonated with you, share it with others. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. And hey, there's another amazing video waiting for you right now. It's on the screen. See you next time.